We know that our side view is drawn to where this member is 15 inches, this is 8 inches, but we need to provide some dimensions on here so that the contractor will know from the paper copy how to build this and what types of materials they need to order and dimensions. So in order to do that, we're going to go ahead and place some dimensions, which are these different tools that we have over in this portion. And to start with, I'm going to go ahead and dimension my 15-inch line. And to do that, I'm going to select the dimension element. So by data point selecting that, it says, this pops up here, it says select the element. I'm going to get a tentative point on there, and by clicking him and dragging it down, it's providing a dimension. Now something looks a little goofy here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. Do a right click. And you can see that the size of my dimension arrows are way too big for what my drawing scale is. Now I can go ahead and fix that. I just got to change my text size. So I'm going to real quick go over to my text features, my place text. And when I select that, it's showing that it wants to place the text height of almost 10 inches tall. That's way too big for my drawing. I found that if I switch to a text height of 1/2 inch, and the width should update as well of 1/2 inch, and then if I change my line spacing from 2 inches between two rows of lines to 1/4 inch, that'll show up a little bit better. I don't actually need to place any text here, so I've saved those settings should be active. So if I go back into my dimension element now and select on it, that's showing up quite a bit smaller, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom back in and see how this looks. And there we go, we got 15, so we'll place that dimension there. And likewise, I'm going to go ahead and dimension the top. So I still make sure I got my dimension element selected, and we're going to dimension our 8-inch line that we created. Dimension that right there. So we got the top and the bottom dimensioned. We also should provide some information for this member, the length of that. So still have dimension linear selected, so I'm going to hover over that, do a data point, and by dragging it off there, I have a couple different options. This is saying that the true dimension of this element is 6.1 inches roughly. If I change this to say dimension what the view is, it's going to give me my 5-inch dimension from here to here, which could be helpful, but I don't need that because I'm going to get this height information from my end view. So I actually want to show what the true dimension is here, the 6.1 inches. And by doing that, I'm going to drag him up to about there. Now, the next thing, which also might be helpful, might not be necessary, but I think it could be a good idea to show what the angle is between these two elements here. And in order to do that, we'll go down to our dimension tools, and we're going to look for dimension angular. So by selecting that, it provides some different options you can select for how you want to measure your angles and dimension them. I believe the one I want is the angle between lines, so I'm going to select that portion, and now it's telling me select the first line, data point there, select the second line, and that's showing that I have a degree about 55 degrees roughly. So I'll place that there. Now I keep mentioning that 15 inches, 8 inches, 6 inches. Well, as of right now, if this was printed off, this just says 15 and 8. There's no units associated with it. So in order to be more precise and more descriptive, we're going to edit this text so that the print plans will show that those are inches. So in order to do that, we can modify the dimension text by going into our text features. And if you select the edit text button, you can, we'll go ahead and zoom in here too a little bit, make it a little bit easier to see. So we got our edit text still selected. We're gonna select the dimension there. And every time you do a dimension, you'll notice in our text editor window here, it comes up, that it'll show the dimensions as a little asterisk. That's the 15. Well, we know that that's 15, so we can just type in 15, but also include the inch symbol there. And it says to accept it, you just do a data click. So I'm going to do a left click, and that changed that to 15 inches. I still got my edit text feature selected, so I'm going to change the 8 to 8 inches here. Accept that. And for some reason this brought this in at 4 decimal spots. I thought it was only to be 2 or 1, but I'm going to go ahead and just switch that to say 6.1 inches. And another thing I might also include here, since the dimension of this line is the same as this one, I'm going to go ahead and add in parentheses, TYP, which stands for typical. And what that tells the contractor is that, in fact, this is also, that the other side's also 6.1 inches. And we'll change, we'll go ahead and leave the degrees like that. So we now have our side view drawn out and dimensioned for the plan set.